Hey guys, how's it going? It's the Crypto Analyst here, and welcome back to another Bitcoin technical analysis. I hope all of you guys are having a good morning, evening, wherever you guys are from. And today I wanted to talk about the recent price action and consolidation going on with the price action of Bitcoin. Now, we already have talked about why Bitcoin fell down and why it's kind of consolidating in this area around the heart line, but I wanted to talk about some key factors that I'm looking into for the future price action of Bitcoin revolving around the EMAs and, of course, this falling channel. So with that being said, guys, if you guys are interested, go and stick around for the video, and do not forget to hit the like and subscribe button, as it does help out the channel a lot. With that being said, let's go ahead and dive on into this. Now, first things first, I want to go ahead and move this over to the 1-day chart to get a little bit more of a macro view of Bitcoin, because even from the bottom of around 3.1k, it's still up over 200%, pushing more even above 250%. So with it being in this price range and holding up, really above this heart line, it's not too bad of a situation. I know some people are immediately just saying, this is doom and gloom. Bitcoin's going to new, yearly lows, and I don't think that that's the case. At least there's not enough evidence as of yet to make calls that are that significant. Now, I understand why some people are getting a little bit more bearish on this, and I cannot blame them because of the fact that these EMAs, guys, are definitely starting to come back towards each other, and what this would be doing is kind of signaling that a death cross could be coming in the future of Bitcoin if things don't start going back upwards, over the course of the next month or so, because this is on the daily chart. So if these EMAs do start getting closer and they do cross, we would have a death cross, which again, ideally that wouldn't be a good situation for Bitcoin. But one of the most significant things for me, again, looking at this on something as macro as the 1-day chart, is knowing that almost all of these candle body closings over in this area have all been closing above this heart line. Now, for the most part, this is the case. Again, you have a little bit of guys on the line in here, but for the most part, guys, these consolidation candles over in here have been above the heart line. One of the biggest questions that people are having is this just a continuation pattern where you kind of just have a bear flag forming or something along those lines? Yes, it's very possible. You don't really have any kind of clear evident bear flag, at least not from a 1-day chart over here, but we will get into the 4-hour, and that's where things can look a little bit more bearish, because the 1-day certainly doesn't look too bad, because if this is just going to fall down and then hold the heart line, it's very possible that it comes back up towards resistance, if not even the 50 EMA of the 1-day, and maybe even potentially break out from here. Again, we would have to break former support, now turn resistance around that price range of around $9,100, $9,200. But if it can get back up here, I think it definitely has a decent chance about breaking out, because what that would be telling me is that the heart line was able to hold in here. It's able to get above the EMAs and potentially reverse this impending death cross that could be coming its way again. Of course, breaking out of this falling channel, and the breakout for that would be, pretty large in and of itself, and would certainly be able to wipe through a lot of this heavy resistance, because once you really start getting through a lot of these guys, the upper levels of resistance don't necessarily seem so strong anymore, because if it's able to break through this resistance and the EMA resistance and the top of this channel resistance, which is extremely strong. I mean, we see our first, our second, our third, our fourth, and now our fifth rejection from this point. So if we can break that, I think that it would be something very significant and definitely something to watch out for. Of course, if this heart line does want to break, guys, if we start seeing rejections of this 200 EMA on the daily time scale, watch out, because the bottom of this channel isn't until around $5,600, which is a pretty steep fall towards the downside. This mid 5,500 range. Ideally, we would like to hold above this. This is actually just around the 7.86 fib retracement from the yearly lows all the way up to the yearly highs. Moving over to the 4-hour chart, one of the things that I wanted to add in was this 50 EMA revolving around the heart line. Now, over here on the heart line, we can see that there was a little bit of action breaking down, and that's why I really use the 1-day, because I think it gives us a better macro perspective of this. 4-hour, a little bit more technical, a little bit more detail oriented, and you do see a little bit of a little bit of candle body closings in this area. Now, I do want to keep talking about the heart line, because it's very evident that it's being used extremely strong in this area. Now, what I mean by that is, of course, it's being used as support in here. It broke below it. Now it's being used as resistance. Broke back above it over in here, being used as support again, fell below it, resistance, and now that it is above it again, we can imagine that it's going to continue to be used as support, which we can kind of see in here. Again, not technically on the heart line, but just, ever so above it. I'm very zoomed in over here. Another thing is this 200, excuse me, not the 200, the 50 EMA being used as very clear resistance. I want to zoom in just a little bit so we can get a little bit better of a picture. But we can see over here lots of rejections from this 50 EMA. Not an ideal bullish case scenario for Bitcoin, but definitely something to watch out for, because really the EMAs and the heart lines are really being some of the most contributing factors in the price action of Bitcoin recently. There's really no clear flag, in my opinion, in this area. I don't think anybody can really say, well, like, oh, this is a clear bear flag, because it's kind of just consolidating in a flat manner. I mean, you can see kind of this flat level of just ranging on Bitcoin anywhere between 8,500 and 7,700. So a decent sized range, but it's really just kind of bouncing up and down and moving sideways from here. So we'll have to see what happens. Again, I would imagine that the heart line is continued to be used as support, and that the 50 EMA is continued to be used as resistance until the squeeze breaks out in one direction. Nothing too huge, but again, something that definitely is worth keeping an eye on if you are a trader, or even just an investor who wants to stay informed of any way of technical analysis. Those are really kind of the key elements that I'm looking into. Volume is actually falling off over here on the 4-hour chart, which tells me, again, potentially could be looking at a decent sized move coming up in this coming week. Probably not this weekend. Again, weekends, I don't see anything too big happening on a Saturday or a Sunday. I would say leading into next week, you could definitely see a decent sized move on Bitcoin. Whether that's $500 or $1,000, it's yet to be determined. Moving over to the EMAs, they aren't saying anything too specific, really nothing happening on this EMA. You see a lot of the negative oscillators has been pretty much dried up over here on the 4-hour chart. The RSI sitting extremely neutral from this zone, and one of the things that I wanted to look at is the 3-day RSI, because we kind of theorized that this level could be getting used as support. I mean, we saw how much it ranged all up and all really around in here from resistance and from support. And so we were kind of theorizing, could this area actually be support again? And in fact, the answer was no. So with Bitcoin falling back down below here, it has raised a decent amount of eyebrows as to whether it will go all the way back down, maybe even go back into oversold, set a higher swing low, and then kind of set itself up for double bullish divergence, So basically the overall picture of what I wanted to paint there, I think I made that a little bit more confusing of what I wanted it to be. But basically is that it would come back down, paint a higher low, set up double bullish divergence on the 3-day RSI, and then that would certainly make a lot of people more bullish. But definitely something to watch over here, and because again, historically this has been a really good just kind of sideways trading zone. And so with this actually falling through over here, a lot of eyebrows have been raised, and certainly a lot of notice to this situation. With that being said, guys, we have pretty much summed up what's happening on Bitcoin and what I am looking for. Whether I'm bearish or bullish in here, I would have to say, guys, as long as it's still in this falling channel, I can't be too bearish on the macro of Bitcoin. Now, I acknowledge the fact that this rejection from the top was not good. I acknowledge the fact that we could be looking at an impending death cross on the 1-day chart of Bitcoin. But again, as long as it's holding above this heart line, and as long as it's in this falling channel, I think that Bitcoin, certainly has a lot of potential to the upside. I was looking at some historical charts and kind of the patterns of where Bitcoin's been at this time of year for the past 9 years, and essentially what that historical analysis would mean for the future. I'll probably save that for a separate video, because there's a really, really cool in-depth chart of historical analysis that I probably don't have time to fit in this one. But, let me know if you guys want to see something like that. So anyway, I hope you guys did enjoy. This has been really my thoughts on Bitcoin. Key takeaways from this are going to be the heart line of this channel and the 50 and the 200 EMA. RSI and MACD, not looking like anything crazy, pretty neutral. But these definitely, the 50 EMA and the 200 EMA on the 4-hour and the 1-hour chart, or the 4-hour and the 1-day chart, and then of course the heart line of this falling channel are all very, very significant factors in this area and in this price action of Bitcoin. So let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section down below. If you guys did enjoy the video, hit that like button and hit that subscribe button, as it does help out the channel a lot. And I will see you guys next time.